Hi, my name is Giudicelli, and I'm here on behalf of Rehab United to talk to you during PT month about why we've been seeing a lot of non-contact injuries, especially with football season starting. Everyone's kind of following the Chargers. They've seen a couple big injuries that have occurred. That's going to significantly affect their season moving forward. But on the PT side of things, we see a lot of these non-contact injuries occurring with our younger athletes. And I wanted to discuss why these things are kind of occurring on a more regular basis. Lately, our younger athletes and even the professional athletes, they train year-round. So there's not a lot of downtime. Soccer season, especially in Southern California, baseball, they can run year-round because we don't really have weather that's going to affect the ability to be outside and to train appropriately for these sports. But what tends to happen with this much time on your feet, this much time playing a specific sport and going through those same repetitive motions, is there's a lot of breakdown that can occur. That breakdown occurs just from the training. Your muscles get worked, they don't have enough time to recover, they're always kind of functioning in a weakened state, and that's going to open the door for failures to occur. That's going to strain ligaments like the ACL, tendons like the Achilles that we've been seeing in professional football. So a couple reasons that these injuries do occur. There can be a significant lack of mobility, and that means just getting someone into a good flexibility program so that their joints and those muscles are used to moving through a full available range of motion. If you have a lot of motion, say at a knee, where you can bend and touch your heel to your butt, but your flexibility and your muscular control is limited to, say, the first half of that motion, the minute those joints get put past the muscular control, you're opening the window for that injury to occur. So, with those things, you need to make sure that your flexibility is opening up the range of motion that's available through each joint, but making sure the muscles are stretched appropriately so that they know how to function within the full range of motion. Secondly, you need to learn to strengthen those muscles in that full range of motion. I think a lot of time people live in the gym during the off season and they train during the season in the gym. Now, if you're on a machine, you're doing a bench press, a leg sled, those things are not going to take those joints, those muscles through the range of motion that they're going to be used in while you're being active and athletic. So those muscles then don't have enough control through the available range of motion, therefore they're not strong enough. And a lot of times they don't have the appropriate muscular endurance to control things. So a lot of non-contact injuries occur also later stages of games. So soccer players, maybe it happens the last third of the game, then at 60 to 90 you might see these injuries occurring. Football players, third quarter, fourth quarter, you see an athlete go to make a cut and they drop to the ground. Those athletes don't have enough muscular endurance to control the motions that you're trying to push yourself through at that time. So that means your training and your recovery periods need to be very specific. So for recovery periods, active recovery is very important, as is cross training. So if you are a soccer player, you shouldn't just be playing soccer year round. You need to take some time, maybe get on a bike, doing some basic running, getting in a pool, and swimming. It gets those muscles to work, it gets those muscles to stay strong and mobile, but it doesn't keep you in the same repetitive movement pattern. If you're a football player, you don't need to be having contact doing high-speed cuts year-round. You need to break out of the habit of what you would do in a typical football practice and football game so that your muscles know not only how to function in a task-specific football or soccer movement pattern, but they can break out beyond that, and those muscles that may fatigue and break down will then have other muscles that are very strong and able to make up for any fatigue that has occurred with the repetitive motions of sport. So I mentioned earlier that we can train year-round in Southern California. It's beautiful here. So overtraining is a huge part. If your muscles don't ever have a chance to build back up, to get to their peak strength, you're going to be more susceptible to injuries. So this means your training needs to be periodized. That means training should have periods of high intensities, low intensities, periods where you are training for prolonged periods in a single bout, and short periods. So if you are training for an endurance sport, you should have long runs as well as short runs. You should have strength heavy emphasis in your training as well as mobility emphasis in your training. Now, that is where you need to maybe get guidance. This isn't something that we can all do on our own. So, seeking a personal trainer, a strength and conditioning coach like we have here at Fit Society, those people would be great at breaking down a training period to make sure that you have the ability to gear your training to prep you for when you need to be at your peak performance. If it's a soccer player, you're going to have a season that maybe lasts 4 or 5 months. If it's a football player, you know that every Sunday you need to be at your best. If you're a weekend warrior and you're playing softball on a Saturday, your weekly activities should do something to support what you're going to do, so you don't go and round first base and drop to the ground because you didn't know how to cut at speed. So making sure that you're taking the time to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself strong, keep yourself mobile is going to be huge moving forward as a professional athlete, a youth athlete, or the weekend warriors as we've gotten older, to make sure that you don't have any catastrophic injuries that maybe affects your ability to lead a happy, healthy lifestyle. Good luck and stay healthy.